Welcome back to my room. For now, this desk is my quiet haven, the one spot where I will be able to sit down, look you all in the eye the best I can, and follow my scripts, and talk about what goes on and really goes on in a neurotypical house, or a neurodivergent house, sorry. So if you watched our reality behind the frenzy video, you know that our family is a complex neurological ecosystem. We live with ADHD, autism, ODD, rare microdeletion, and complex PTSD, or as I like to refer to it, the alphabet, all under the same roof. On top of that, I also navigate my own borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and severe anxiety and panic disorder. Today we are starting a multi-part series on what happens when all of those brains completely collide. I want to take you through a week in our life to talk about some things that most parents are too scared to admit out loud, and especially on public platforms where they're going to be ridiculed and made to feel little less than what they are, which is reaching an absolute physical and mental breaking point. And how complex families actually survive in a total system failure. More specifically, how my family is surviving in a total system failure. Standard parenting advice always tells you to look at a single meltdown and find the immediate trigger. But when you are raising neurodivergent preteens and teenagers, it is never about just one single moment. It's about a multitude of moments all compiling together over time. For the past few months, the pressure in our house has been building in very slow motion. Hormones, intense school anxiety, executive dysfunction, etc. It has been like a volcano simmering in the background for weeks while I've been trying to keep the house standing and everything running as smoothly as I possibly can for all other kids involved in the household. A few days ago, that volcano finally exploded. My 14-year-old daughter, who has ADHD, inattentive, and behavioural challenges, was facing a massive milestone. She had to attend her very first day at a behaviour support school. Her body was in a primal state of fight or flight. I was aware that she didn't want to go. I was aware that she was pushing back on having to get up and actually go. So I tried to make it more positive. And in the act of me making it more positive, I tried to tickle her, like, you know, when you poke them, and talking to her in a silly voice, and to try and get her out of bed. This simple, normal, positive parenting interaction had the complete opposite effect to what I expected it to have. Her defensive nervous system snapped and she kicked into me. In that split second, my own sensitive and anxious brain went entirely offline, and before thinking and rational thinking could even step in, my reflexes had taken over, and we had a physical collision. It was the first time that anything like this has ever happened. Usually I am my brain's on the ball a lot more, and I can think before I react. It's really hard to talk about this, but it needs to be discussed, because I know I am not the only parent out there who has reacted this way at some point in their life with their children. The wave of emotional distress, shame and panic that flooded me afterward had almost cost me my life. I'm being fiercely honest about this because I know that there is a mother or a father who is watching this right now who has crossed a line that they swore they would never cross, and are drowning in silent isolation this very instant. I want that parent, whoever it is that is out there watching this right now, to see that you can survive the shame. When crises become too big for just you to handle on your own, the most responsible thing that you can do is put your hand up. I didn't hide what had happened. I immediately reached out to my mental health services, legal bodies, and other people of other areas of support. And we wrapped our support workers and care network tightly around our household. It's okay when your family ecosystem is this complex to let a professional support network and team of people to step in to help stabilize the environment. That it's not a sign of failure. It is an ultimate act of protection for yourself and your kids and your home. After the incident, her nervous system was so overloaded that she bolted from our house to find a high adrenaline outlet just to feel a sense of control. But the true turning point this week happened when she finally came home. We didn't shout. We didn't immediately drop the heavy punishments. We sat down together, we held each other, and we just talked about everything, and we both cried together. We met each other in a grief of the shared nervous system failure that we both had, and that is what is called the repair. The very next morning, she actually walked through the gates of her new school. How? Because I recognised in that moment that my voice had become a massive demand trigger for her. So I swallowed my pride, and I reached out to her close friends, and I asked them to encourage her to give it a try, and they did that for me. Adaptive parenting means knowing when it's okay to step back, when you've got to step back, when you've got no choice but to step back and let another village step in. That's how you create the village around you and the village of support for yourself and your children. The complexity doesn't stop with the teenagers. Over the next few episodes, I will share more about how this environment ripples through the rest of my house, especially for my 5-year-old daughter. She is entirely neurotypical, but she is a mirror, and when she grows up watching her older siblings slamming doors or exploding, her little brain copies it because that is her normal. It's her normal reality. It's what she's being exposed to. So in the next part, I will go on to talk about how I try to protect her development and the steps that I do to try and put into place and how I navigate these behaviours with her. Especially when my house is a consistent, and other homes that are like mine are consistent sensory pressure cookers. Sorry, I'm trying to get the words out. Any parent of a teenager with ADHD knows a new school change is not going to instantly fix months of build-up pressure. When boundaries are put in place to keep any complex teenager safe, their brain does not process it as love. They process it as a massive threat of their own freedom. And when that happens, their survival instincts shifts from fight and pushing back into flight. They will bolt, they will take off, they will run towards the environments and peers and situations that feel like an escape, even if they are completely unsafe for them. This week, we also hit that wall. My daughter completely bolted out of an overwhelming and overwhelming situation and frustration with the boundaries that are keeping her safe right now. I'm sharing all this because I want to talk about a survival tool that saved us this week: unified crisis co-parenting. When a complex teenager goes into full flight response, you cannot handle it as a solo island. It's impossible to handle it all by yourself, especially when you have in a situation like me where you have other children involved. You can't just drop everything and run to go find that child. Your nervous system completely breaks. I literally had to swallow my own pride and contact their father, who I do not have a good relationship with, but we do our best to co-parent the best that we can. We don't always see eye to eye. We don't always agree on things, but we had to come together in this instance to be there for our daughter the best way that we could be as her parents to get her into a safe situation. Her father, had travelled 4 hours to be able to step directly into the trenches with me. He helped me track her down and safely guide her away from unsafe peer groups and back into the safety of a family unit. He'd done so with very little and very minimal information of what was going on from me at that time. If you're parenting together, or even on your own through a crisis, and you really need to reach out, you really need to find who your team is. Even if you feel there is nobody there, there is always somebody there to back you up and be beside you to help you through this. This could be an ex-partner, a family member, a professional support worker, the authorities, anything like that. Wherever you need to go to those people. Reach out, don't be scared. If you need to ring up and you're going through the same thing and you need to ring up and put a case on yourself through places like the Department of Children's Services and things like that, do that. Don't be afraid. You bring up and you put it down as a person reporting a child at immediate risk. It's not going to come back negatively on you. It is going to come back positively on you, because you're not going to get the help and the supports that you need without making the steps necessary to do this. There are plenty of other services and that out there that can help you. But you have to be willing to divide and conquer, because you cannot carry the weight of running a teenager or even multiple teenagers in a household that is not neurotypical entirely on your own. Now, we definitely do not have this all figured out, and I am absolutely winging it, playing it by ear and navigating real-time survival every single day, majority of the time on my own. And if your house feels chaotic, if you are relying heavily on support workers, or even if you feel like you are failing or you're on your own, remember one thing: you are not alone. You are never alone. Don't be afraid to reach out. Anybody can help you. Don't let yourself get to the breaking point where I got to this week, or the past week. Now, this week coming, I may share a bit more of my day-to-day. However, there will be a lot that I will not be sharing as well. At this time, I am not sure if I will do this as little shorts or just short video clips on my regular, off of the shorts, but in here. Or if I'll just compile it all together and just make it into one full video. However, I will be sharing a little bit more sometime over the next week and a bit. But when I do have a few moments, that'll happen when I do have a few moments of free time to myself. I will be keeping a lot of my children's stuff out of it. And I will be doing my best to try and word things so that way it's educational. As I said, I want this to be an educational video. I want this to be a video where other parents who are navigating and going through the same things, and you're at your wit's ends, where you've tried and you've tried and you've tried, and you feel like you're failing, and you know that if things go bad and if things go south, you know yourself as well as I do that society is not going to look at the things that you've done to try to help and put into place for your children. They're going to just instantly blame the family. And I know from my first-hand experience that myself personally, I have been reaching out for help for months and months and months, and for the last 3 years, and now we are at this point now, and it implicates us negatively even though we've tried. But don't let that stop you, don't let that hinder you, don't let that get you into a bad state of mind, and don't let that ever get you to the point where I was put last Friday. But I would like you last Thursday. But if you have made it this far and you want to follow on for the next part 2 and the next few parts of this little short series that I'm going to be doing with the parenting and navigating things, please jump on, like, subscribe, follow me. I really want to make this a safe, inviting space for everybody and other families going through the same stuff, and to let you know that you're not alone, and to give you little tips and tricks and help you feel less afraid to put it out there and just verbalize it and get it out to where you need to get it out to. Do not be scared. But all that being said, please drop a comment below. Let's strip away the shame of the teenage years, because the teenage years it's hard. And yeah, so if you know, you know, it's the teenage years that nobody really talks about. So hit subscribe, follow the rest of the series, take care of your own nervous system today, and I will see you in the next part. I may also even do a couple of little meditation videos with you guys to sort of help us all sort of reset our brain after the end of a chaotic and busy and hectic week, or just a week that we've felt like that we've just can't do it anymore. But I love yous, and thank you so for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.